Hi, everyone. I'm Lisa Baue with funeralwomenlead.org, and welcome to our podcast for women and a funeral, and happy holidays. It is December 2025, and we're excited to have everyone here. We're not really in holiday outfit because I know some of us are in funeral service, some of us in business. We probably couldn't dress that goofy, but it would be fun to do. We may have to do a toast. Do a toast with our water. How's this? Happy holidays, everybody. Hold your water up. There we go. We're doing lots of hydrating this time of year, which is very, very important. Well, with us today on For Women in a Funeral, of course, are our four women, amazing women funeral directors and leaders in our profession. We have Alicia Carr, owner of Kelco Supply Company from Big Lake, Minnesota. And I'm sure it's freezing up there in December. The ice
Absolutely.
is on the lake. Ice is on the lake. Ice fishing start yet?
Yep, not quite. Towards the end of it.
All right, towards the end of December. And then
the first time I get out on the lake generally is around New Year's. My husband goes much earlier than that. He calls that early ice, but I go when it's safe.
When it's safe and it's really thick so you don't fall through. You have a hut too, right? A hut on the lake, which is awesome.
Yes.
Yeah,
yep.
I love
little
that.
Ice cabin. Yeah.
I think that's a great place for a retreat. We should all go to Melissa's.
I say that often because if you've never experienced it, it's very relaxing. You have to unplug because you get away from a lot of the internet stuff or your phone doesn't work anyway, but it makes you, force yourself to kind of unplug and just be with the people that you're with. So it's very enjoyable.
Ooh, this might be fun for after the first of the year, ladies. Might have to think about that.
Anytime.
Going cold, right?
Yeah, we got room for 6 in our little ice hut.
Well, there's only 4 of us, and if we include our guest Kristen, that's 5. Yeah, that's cool. We could do that.
Kristen can come too. Yeah, there's room for you.
Thanks. Bring our fishing. All right, it's cool. Also with us is Wynn McBrayer, NFDA current secretary and on track to be NFDA's first woman president. Yay! And she is president of Jones Wynn Funeral Home, crematory in Villa Rica, Georgia. Wynn McBrayer, welcome.
Thank you. Glad to be here today.
Lots of big holiday plans for you?
Yes. So exciting. It's always fun to be with family and eat food that you didn't cook. So I'm excited.
You don't have to cook? How did that happen?
I do it the old-fashioned way. I go to my mom's house, so.
Darn it. Well, for those with moms, that is really helpful, but I've had to bring my mom's recipes back into my holiday season. My kids expect to have certain things. We can talk about those recipes later, but oh my gosh, yeah.
Sweet.
It's fun, yeah. And Melissa Posey Loose, Senior Vice President of Communications for Security, National Funeral Homes and Cemetery out of Salt Lake City, Utah. Welcome, a fellow funeral director. What's up with your holiday season?
Oh, it's just going, right? Everybody hopefully coming together and getting to see family from around the country. So it's great.
Oh, that's good. It's good to have family in, unless you have to cook for all of them. That's not always easy.
That's okay. I love to cook. My husband and I actually like to cook together. It's something that we really enjoy doing. It's a stress release for us. So.
Oh, good. Good.
Yeah.
I enjoy that too. My husband's learning to carve a turkey pretty well. So depending on what you have, our kids always like to have some kind of steak or something like that, but it's, one year we did tacos. You know how much work tacos are? Mm-hmm. A lot of work. I'm thinking no more Christmas tacos. Well, our special guest today that we are going to spend some time with is amazing woman, Kristen Ernst, who is the owner and operator of the Center for Hope and Healing LLC and Dean of our Women's Leadership Academy for Funeral Women Lead. Welcome, Kristen. She's from St. Charles, Missouri, my hometown.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so glad to be here. I'm so honored to be with you 4 women. It's really an honor.
Well, you make 5, so we could do 5 women in a funeral. Yeah. Although you'd have to just be an assistant, because you're not licensed yet.
Not
but
licensed.
You never know. But you are licensed in other ways. You are a licensed. Yes. You are a licensed professional counselor. And let me tell you about Kristen a little bit, ladies. She has dedicated her career to walking alongside individuals and families through grief, trauma, and profound loss. She's also created and facilitated aftercare programs, support groups for funeral homes and communities across the country. She supports those that are affected by suicide, addiction, child, infant loss, miscarriage, and other deeply painful experiences. Her work extends into communities through memorial services, grief education, and national speaking engagements across across the funeral, hospice, and mental health fields. Kristen, in her role as the Dean of our Women's Leadership Academy, the very first Women's Leadership Academy in the entire profession that we know of, right? Yay!
Yay!
Yay! And so Kristen is bringing both her clinical experience and extraordinary compassion and support that helps strengthen women in funeral service as they grow into their leadership. She does workshops, group conversations, and personalized one-on-one coaching with all the women in the academy. And she also helps women build their resilience, confidence, boundaries, and a greater sense of self so that they can lead with more empathy and care for themselves and their own well-being. So, Kristen, we are really grateful to have you on this podcast. And I tell you what, Kristen has been coaching and helping mentor women at Baue's back at my old firm. For many, many years, who come to her with areas of stress and concern and things that they just don't know what to do with. And so I'd like Kristen to share a little bit about her journey and what led you to dedicate your work to supporting women in caregiving professions like funeral service.
Well, I hate to start with a sad story, but I'm going to go ahead and do that. So just brace yourselves. But I am a mother of 4. And when my second child was born, he needed a double lung transplant. And he was not able to receive that. And so we had to put him on life support and then eventually take him off life support. And through that journey of him coming off life support, I was introduced to hospice. And then after he passed away, I was also introduced to Baue actually served our family. And so was introduced to funeral service and end of life care. And so I started companioning people through my own grief journey because I was insatiable at that time. I was so sad. And I was just trying to deal with the loss. And so I was insatiable when it comes to getting knowledge and reading and all those things. And so I was companioning people from a volunteer standpoint. And fast forward a couple years later, I went through a divorce and I had a therapist kind of walk me through that, help me navigate that. And so I decided at that point to go back and get my master's in counseling and do all the credentials you need to do to become a therapist. And through that, I then started working with people in hospice and worked for a couple hospice companies, and then which led me to be the director of grief services for Baue Funeral Home. So full circle, right? And what I recognized in that journey is from being the griever to helping people that are mourning, is that there's a lot of people that have a hard time sitting in the dark with people. And so that was became my mission. That became I say that's part of Aiden's legacy, is that I get to help people and I sit in the dark with them in their darkest places. And we don't have to see the light at that point. So hopefully sometimes just having somebody in the dark with you is the most important part. And that not only is for people that are mourning, but people that are in funeral service. Because I noticed that as a helping profession, when you're sitting in the dark with people all day long, which people in funeral service do, that takes a toll. And so what I recognized is that I wanted to have a long career in therapy and in counseling. And I saw working for Baue's funeral home that I also wanted to help those people and people in hospice, how to self-care, how to do this journey for lifelong, right?
And you helped all the women funeral directors on our team, as well as men. I mean, not just women, but they came to you just openly and freely for advice and how to help themselves help families better. So I just am so grateful for that. And Kristen now is the owner of the Center for Hope and Healing in St. Charles, and she has taken on her own counseling company and built it tremendously.
Thank you.
How many counselors do you have on staff now?
We have 5.
Five
have 5,
counselors.
and we went from serving about 700, having 700 sessions in 2020 to now we have over 3,800.
3,800. So
amazing.
That's a huge growth.
Yeah.
So is five enough?
No, we need more.
We need more.
We need more, and especially with this great opportunity to be the dean, I'm going to be shifting and not seeing as many clients. So if there's any therapists out there that are needing a place to land, I'd love to talk. But yes, we're always looking for new good clinicians.
That's awesome. That's awesome to hear. That's awesome. And your journey starts with a very sad story of your son Aiden dying at a very, very young age, and the frustration in being a bereaved mother. And during the holidays, I know especially most of us that serve families and have served families in the past. During this time of year, it can be very difficult. And as funeral directors and women in the profession, we're all constantly caregiving, and we're doing holiday remembrance programs, and we're there to support families. What do we do to support ourselves? I think that's something that we struggle with, because we don't always take care of ourselves very well, because we're giving to everybody else. So you've worked closely with women who are balancing themselves and trying to find their balance in leadership, caregiving, and the emotional weight of the grief work that we do. So do you see any patterns that you've noticed from your past experiences and past coaching with these women that inspired the creation of the Women's Leadership Academy? Because I know when I came to you and I said, hey, thinking about this Women's Leadership Academy, what do you think about it? And you and I talked a little bit about what you see women going through. What patterns did you notice that you feel women need, and why they should be going through a leadership academy like ours?
Well, I would love to hear from all of you about this, but what I was seeing, especially in the peak of the pandemic, was a lot of self-medicating and numbing for people that were caring for others, whether that was scrolling aimlessly on the phone, or I will admit that I drank more, which I'm not happy to say, and that I have curtailed that and recognized that about myself. But I was drinking. I was having more alcohol consumption because I was so wound up and seeing so many people that at the end of the day, I had a really hard time kind of coming down from that kind of day. And so I had to have that self-awareness. I'm in therapy. So I was recognizing that about myself and curtailed that. I don't know what you guys, you guys manage people and are leaders. What were you guys seeing?
Oh, alcohol consumption. Yeah. So that little glass of wine that turns into 2 glasses of wine at the end of the night, trying to sleep, and then you're just adding more sugar to your body. And so patterns.
They said that during the pandemic, 20%, there was a 20% increase in alcohol consumption in the pandemic, and it hasn't stopped.
I'm pretty sure we in our community, they were talking about how much their sales boosted at the liquor stores.
Yeah.
It was tremendous. You didn't see that anywhere else because everything else was shut down. So it was crazy. Crazy number.
Else see that? Yeah. So, right. Exactly. So watching all that self-medication and numbing, what can we do to replace that? And what do you believe women who are working to improve themselves as leaders should be doing instead of the self-numbing and the self-medication going forward as growing themselves as leaders? What should they be doing during this time of year to help themselves more?
So much of that is intentionality, I think, and having mindfulness around not only your daily schedule, but just your body, connecting to self. Sometimes that is a very, we don't have a lot of time. None of us do, but something is connecting to, I use an exercise of when you're brushing your teeth, notice just brushing your teeth, because all of us are brushing our teeth mindlessly. We're just thinking about the meeting that we have to go to, the thing, the people that we're meeting later, the soccer game that we have to go to. So what would it be like to brush your teeth and feel the toothbrush and taste the toothpaste and listen to what that sounds like versus your teeth versus your gums? Connecting to your body is really going to help us slow down and be intentional about everything. And I know that's such a simple thing, but that's the whole goal of part of the Leadership Academy is to give simple things. We're not trying to tell women to be more and do more, right?
Should we get everybody new toothbrushes, do you think?
Yes, for sure.
Yes.
Well, I laugh at that because when I think about what I do, and I'm trying to make my bed when I'm brushing my teeth. How well am I brushing my teeth? I don't know, but I always feel like I can do something else. I can do something.
Oh, you're multitasking.
Two birds with one stone. Yeah, I know, crazy. But when she said brushing your teeth, I think I know what I do when I brush my teeth. That's not paying attention to brushing my teeth.
So you're obviously Yeah, you're not using an electric toothbrush, are you, Elisa?
No,
which is
I'm not.
really good for you, and it's good for your gums. So what do we do when we brush our teeth?
Well, I don't have a lot of cavities. Like my dentist says I have great teeth. So clearly I'm doing it good, but I'm doing it as long as it takes me to make my bed.
Mm-hmm. So I guess none of y'all are the people that brush your teeth in the shower. There's those people as well.
Are you one of those, Ellen?
No, I'm not. But Jennifer Aniston went on the kick of, we have to conserve water, so let's do it. Let's do that in the shower. And I'm like, but doesn't that keep you in the shower longer? No, I'm not that person.
That would get slippery and greasy.
Getting back to being mindful, like you should be paying attention to things like that. Absolutely.
You should be.
Yes.
But you're talking about like slowly brushing your teeth and focusing only on the toothbrush and the sound and the mouth and we're talking like it's a therapy thing, right?
Slowing down, paying attention to your breath. Another exercise that you can do is I tell people to drive. If anybody has a 16-year-old, drive as if you're 16 again.
Everything.
No, not at
awareness.
my house.
But no, that's such a good thing because you're aware of everything. When you're 16. Like the little squirrel that we don't even see now. Like they're like, oh, there's a squirrel. Like it's true.
You're supposed to be aware. You're supposed to be aware at 16. Some of us have 16-year-olds that are not aware.
Okay.
But I get your point.
Yeah. I have a feeling, Melissa, you paid attention. Maybe not your kids, but you paid attention. So like how the steering wheel feels on your hands, and noticing how does your blinker sound? And we've kind of tuned all of that out. So all of this is about tuning back in. And that can be a mindfulness exercise. How many of us are at the stoplight doing looking at an email? I do not text and drive. I really am careful of that. But like at the stoplight, I might change the music. So it's like, how do we tune back in to what we're feeling in our bodies? Can I feel my back up against the chair? These are some of the things that just kind of notice. Can you notice where, even all of you, can you notice where your clothing starts and ends on your neck? We tune all of that out. So much of this is mindfulness of like, how do we slow down and listen to our bodies? Because so many times we're just working, we're not paying attention to our hydration. We're not paying attention to the last time we ate. We're not paying attention to the last time we even went to the bathroom. And so part of this is like really tuning into the body.
Okay, so how do you slow down to do that? Do you put signs out? Like, how do you, because I will hear this, but I don't know. I'm a person that just, I think I'd have to put signs on my mirror or set like alarms or something.
Breathe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember. I can go a whole day and not have gone to the bathroom because I don't. I mean, that's probably a lot of information.
Bladder of steel, woman. After two babies.
And I'll give a quick example. Like when, like what you're talking about, Melissa. Like I used to, because we have a 4 children. The second born is medically handicapped, severely. Like lots of he's doing great now, but during that journey, I didn't pay attention to anything or my body, and then I ended up having to have 2 Achilles repairs because my Achilles were so damaged that I touched it, or when I think one of my children touched my Achilles and it burned, and I didn't even notice. And so slowing down is such a very big thing to stop and have that awareness. So I know in joking about it, but seriously, if I had caught it earlier, I might not have had to have 2 major surgeries while I had 4 little ones. But it's so important. And Melissa, make signs, do what you have to do or set a timer on your alarm, because it's actually something I am actually on that journey, because Lisa challenged me at the last leadership. Ellen, what do you do for you? And I'm like, what does that mean? So I actually just signed up for a half a marathon because why not just go ahead and sign up and then figure out how to slow down in between now and April. But it's, it's keep preaching it, because it's very important for people to slow down. And
I also think, Melissa, you have such a great point that I think it's 1% shifts. You're not going to do this overnight. So make the signs, and also set alarms on your phone. I had, I went to a retreat actually in Arizona a few years ago, and it was post-pandemic, and I was seeing 25 people a week is considered full-time in my therapy world. And I was seeing 42. And I got to this retreat with a bunch of other therapists, and we were talking about running a business and all of those things. And they looked at me and they said, you are heading yourself into an early grave. And
that so I came home and I didn't go from 42 to 25. I went from 42 to 41 to 40. I stopped. And I will say that one of the statistics that I brought for all of us for the podcast is that 80% of the people that have an autoimmune disease are women. And there's a reason.
Wow.
There's a reason for that. We're not taking care of ourselves. We have to slow down and start taking care of ourselves slowly.
Okay. So let's talk about that a little bit more, because we are in the middle of the holiday season, and this is the time where that probably goes by the wayside. So we got the toothbrushing. You've talked about going out in the past and walking in grass, which isn't always possible barefoot, I think.
Yes, that's
right?
true.
You taught me that once.
Yeah.
But it's a little cold in some states. So what else can we do to this holiday season to just get some rest and just take better care of ourselves? Finding that mindfulness moment. We've got to figure this out, ladies, because we are our own worst enemies. Yeah, it's part of leadership development too.
We'll talk about this a lot in the Leadership Academy, that no is a full sentence.
Ooh.
And we don't need to have so much of the, when women entered the workforce many years ago, which Lisa, I appreciated so much about how you addressed that in your book and what you were up against in funeral service back then. And when women went into business and the workforce, we didn't really change the division of labor at the home. We're still doing all of the work at home and doing all the work in business. And I know we're all awesome, ladies that can multitask, and we can get the job done. And my therapist says this, and I'll use it: just because we can doesn't mean we should. And so what would it be like to step back and say, you know what, that tradition of making 6 pies, I'm going to make 1. Or that tradition of Christmas caroling that everybody complains about, we're just going to opt out. Whatever that is for you and your family, it is okay to, first of all, we can't please everybody, right? Like, that's impossible. And so what would it be like to just go into the holiday knowing that you're going to tick some people off?
Are we good at that? Are we good at really upsetting people? That's not in our nature.
I'm terrible at it, but I'm getting better at it. It's part of my, I'm embracing that part of me that really is shaking things up. It's not pleasant, but even part of resilience is having a tolerance for distress.
Huh. And this is something you're going to be teaching in the Leadership Academy about building self-confidence and resilience. Let's talk about that a little bit more. I think that's the theme for the January class. And this is a full year Leadership Academy. So they'll kick off in November. They kicked off in November, and they'll graduate the following November. And they're focused on themselves and working on themselves as leaders. So when you say building self-confidence and resilience, part of that is being able to say no, right?
Right.
And how well do we do with that no? What does real resilience look like? Not in theory, but like in daily lived experiences for women in our profession. What do you think?
I would love to. I'm in a podcast with 4 very resilient women, so I would love to hear your guys' take on this. But the way I teach resilience is that it is a lot of delayed gratification. And that we're not going to get the immediate thing that we want. We have to really work for it, but we have to work for it in a way that is honoring our bodies and honoring our lifestyle. Like I said, resilience is a lot of distress tolerance. And I can, as a woman that's single mom that's been divorced and has gone through a lot of junk, I've had to make time in the little spaces for me in order to go to the next step. So I don't know what that means for you guys. I think that I'm curious.
Who wants to answer that question? 4 women. What do you do to help yourself with building your confidence and your resilience?
I go back to the people that you're around. Surround yourself with people that uplift you rather than bring you down. And just find somebody to sit down with, have some coffee, throw some ideas off of one another. And I have people some friends, close group of friends that one in particular is a business owner, and honestly, a totally different profession, different industry altogether, but it's so much the same. So I think, to know that you're not alone, it kind of goes back to what you said a little bit, Kristen, in the beginning, is sit with them in their dark spaces. Like if you both are having common challenges or want to, find a way out of something, why not, have somebody join you and talk you through it. And maybe you're talking them through something at the same time.
Just be that listening ear, right?
Yeah. But listening, but also absorbing, from that standpoint to, boost your own resiliency.
Interesting. Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. So find a friend, find a buddy.
Surround yourself with people that uplift you and make you a better person. Like just stir your creative mind. Not boring people, obviously, but people that make you think and give you challenges.
Push you,
and push you to be a better person. And
I love that.
Stronger.
I love that.
I will say that, one of the things that I think is so great that we're building this community, Lisa, is that we're mammalic creatures. And if you look at every other mammal species, when you see the elephant, like one of the baby elephants fall into the river, all the mama elephants go get that baby, not just the one that birthed that baby. And so I think that that's something that we're trying to create with Funeral Women Lead and with the Leadership Academy, is this community of we're here to help each other, support each other, and sit in the muck, because there's plenty of it, but then also really lift each other up in the ways that we shine. And so I appreciate what you say about that. Like we do need community desperately in a time where life is pretty isolating. It can be pretty isolating.
It can be. Yeah. And so part of building our own self-confidence and our resilience is to find others there to support us and listen to us and give us advice and pull us out of the muck. I like this baby elephant connotation because you see all the moms rush in there and they all work together. So that's kind of like our 4 Women in a Funeral here. I think one of our goals is to support each other as well as support other women. And that's part of why we're doing this podcast, for them to feel like they're not alone and to join us at Funeral Women Lead so that they're part of a community that helps uplift them. So what do we do to pull ourselves out of the muck? What do you do, Melissa, to help find that confidence, resilience, and pull yourself out of the muck or have others help you?
Well, I heard Kate Collins in our last podcast mention gratitude and the importance of that. And, you have to slow down and remind yourself to do this, or at least I do, but to step back and look at what I am grateful for, and who is really there. With this whole Funeral Women Lead movement, as we like to call it, we do have a lot of women coming together, but I have to also shout out and say we have a lot of people from all spaces coming to support us. There are a lot of men who have reached out and said, what can I do to help support this? And I love that. I'm going to give a quick shout out to Chris Trainer, because I remember having dinner with him, and he and Jen Parvin, and they said, Chris said, what can I do? I love this. And I really appreciated that. If you don't know who Chris Trainer is, he's a CEO of Batesville, but just people like that, really, really appreciate it. So I have to step back and say, look at who's in my corner. Because sometimes we can get in a box and we put blinders on and we don't see those people, but they are there. We've got to just be courageous enough to take those blinders off.
And reach out to them and find them, because they're there to support us. And we want to thank Batesville, who is one of our founding partners, by the way. And they've been amazing in helping us get a quick start here and be there for us in the future. So it's pretty cool to see that. And good recognition that we have men there to support us too. Some of my early mentors were men. I wouldn't have made it through the first few years after my dad died. Had it not been for male managers and men in the profession in my dad's study group that helped lift me up and pull me out of that muck. Because you get, your self-confidence goes to an all-time low when you're facing you're facing tragedy and loss, as well as trying to grow yourself as a leader, and you just don't know who to rely on. And to have those men mentors out there, they were terrific. They really were. What about you, Ellen? Self-resilience and grit and working on yourself, and how do you pull yourself out of the muck, or what do you do to get yourself out of the muck? And
I just, the word, when someone tells me no, to me, that's a challenge. It's not, to me, it's not, when somebody says it's not possible, or, no, you can't do that. That to me is like, thank you for that challenge. And I also think, I learned something in 911, CPR training, it's to be intentional. So if somebody is having a crisis and, they're giving an analogy that at a mall, there was a lady that had fallen over and was having a heart attack, and somebody was yelling, call 911, but nobody called 911. They're like, be intentional. Hey, you with the red sweater on, call 911. You call right now. And so and it taught me a lot about life too, because like how important is that when we're drowning or we need help, that either if we don't have emotional intelligence, we act out, like we retreat, we do whatever, bad habits. But if we can be intentional with knowing that we're going to have that crash out, like instead of crashing out, maybe crash out in an intentional way. Hey, I need to talk to you right now. And I need you just to listen because I'm going to crash out, right? Just to have those people, those ride or dies in your corner. So I try to be very intentional with those things to build grit, because and to also not lose empathy along the way. Like when things and challenges happen, I also have an awareness to sit back and say, you would think it would create more empathy in what others go through, but sometimes it creates a blind spot. Well, if I can survive that, they can too. Those old guard funeral directors, I did all that. Well, yeah, you did, but you also didn't have the phone ringing off the hook. You didn't have a phone in your pocket. You didn't have the connection to the world. Like you did all those things, but it was a totally different place. So I want to honor that and still have empathy for what people and challenges are coming along the way. So that's a little bit of the movie in my mind and the stories that I have to remind myself of, because it's hard to choose joy and stay positive sometimes when the world is a natural place for woe is me and the victim mentality. Like the world is built and designed. And I love this movement because I think men and women both need to be supported mentally and say, hey, great job. Let's change the narrative, and only dead fish go with the flow. So let's figure out how to be different and be, happy in life. And even when we're going through crap, how to still find laughter in others and not lose that connection. So
that's awesome. Well, during this holiday season too, I think we have to start looking at the future, right? So let's look ahead a little bit. I know in the Leadership Academy, one of the things they're going to be teaching, Kristen, you'll be teaching is goal setting and setting goals for 2026 and what you're going to accomplish in 26 and how you're going to get there. Tell us a little bit about the goal setting you're doing with these women, and then I'm gonna pin us down and ask the rest of us how we're doing with our goal setting, and if we even have started that.
Thanks for the warning. Thanks for the warning.
Yeah, setting those SMART goals. Specific, measurable, attainable, achievable. Relevant to your vision of your future, and time-based with a timeline in which you're going to achieve them. So I think goal setting gives us hope for the future. And I think it can kind of set us ahead and saying, okay, look, things may be hard right now. It might be hard during the holidays, but I got next year, and I'm looking forward to next year and accomplishing some results. Tell us what you do, Kristen, with the students.
Well, actually, Lisa, I'm going to challenge you a little bit and say that goal setting can start in this podcast right now. In the sense that we don't have to wait till the next year or the next week. We always want some kind of this date that where we make a big change. And what would it be like if we walked away from this podcast all being cognizant about brushing our teeth and not doing anything else? What if that's the one thing we're going to change 1%? If my goal is to have more rest in my day or more mindfulness in my day, that's how I'm going to start, is just doing one thing, 1% shifts, because you'll look back and you'll recognize, oh, wow, even when I recognized that I was drinking too much during the pandemic, I didn't just cold turkey it. I recognized that I'm going to stop drinking during the week. I'm going to stop. And I curtailed myself back more and more and more. So I'm just saying that there's this part of what would it be like to start today? Every minute is new. Every day is new. What would it be like to start something today?
And that's part of like where we're starting with the goal setting is like, we're not going to have this thing off in the distance of like next year, or even people that are listening to this podcast that maybe aren't in the Leadership Academy and they say, oh, next year when I do the Leadership Academy, I'll learn that. What can we seize today? Today is what we have.
Okay. So today, all right, we're going to end this podcast with a goal that each of us are going to help each other hold accountable to. So we're gonna go through this. That's good, Kristen. I love the fact that we need to set it today because it is December, and we need to do something now. I love that. That's action. That's perfect. Okay, SMART goal. Who wants to start with their one thing that they want the world to hear that they're going to accomplish in now today? This is our next goal.
No pressure.
No pressure.
I'll start.
I love catching this group off guard because I can see their faces. If anybody's watching this, they're going, "Oh no, don't call on me first," because I have no clue what I'm going to be doing today.
I'll start with that. I've never been one that has journaled, and my goal isn't necessarily to journal. However, I think what my intention is to take my calendar each morning. I have to-do lists galore. Like I write things down just so I can check them off. Like I feel like that, like I need the reminder for sure, but there's some satisfaction in getting that check mark. Mm-hmm. But I think what my goal is to look at the calendar each day, give it 10 minutes, give it 15 minutes, whatever it is to start your day. And look at your appointments that are on your calendar, the things that are there, and figure if it's a meeting with somebody or a conference or something like this, like understand within yourself, like, how do you want to show up for that? Like, what is your purpose for this? Make every part of that time purposeful and intentional in what I'm doing. Because I feel like, they talk about meetings that go too long or, things that kind of get off track, that kind of thing. But how do I want to show up for that? And what is the outcome that we're looking for?
Okay, so you're going to journal daily, right?
I will journal that. I mean, my goal is to journal for 15 minutes in the morning with my calendar, because I feel like my calendar goes way off the rails all day, every day.
Oh, welcome to the profession, right?
I know.
Everybody,
So I think that's one thing I can kind of try to reel back, into the rails. Put the wheels back on and be intentional about it.
Cool.
More intentional about it.
I know I've told my clients that when I coach that, write down one thing in the morning as you start your day that you're grateful for. Mm-hmm. One thing that you're grateful, because I think that's so important to start our day on a high note, and having that gratefulness. Mm-hmm. And I've gotten away from that too. So I maybe have to steal that to do, because I used to journal every day and I'm not. And I
don't.
Doing what I teach.
My reason behind, I'm more to just get my calendar in line, because I feel like I have a lot of things on the calendar, and do they all need to be there? I don't know. Maybe not.
Okay. So you're going to assess that every day when you get up in the morning while you're brushing your teeth and making your bed.
Probably not while I'm brushing my teeth. Kristen says no.
No. Kristen says no. Just journal for 15 minutes a day. Okay. I love that. Ellen, how about you?
So a goal between now and the end of the year, is that correct?
Well,
or
today. I think Kristen challenged us to set something today that's a goal that we can hold each other accountable for.
Well, and so I'm
writing them down, by the way.
Yeah, it's kind of an ongoing goal. It's kind of an ongoing goal that daily I have to recommit to, and that's Lisa, when you challenge me, what it's this journey to figure out, like, what can I do to disconnect and unplug from the world to fill my energy tank back up? Like, how do I recharge? And my answer was ride roller coasters. And she was like, that's an adrenaline thing. Like, that's not, and I was like, yeah, that's why I love it. Like, but my goal every day has been to wake up and try to figure out, we do devotions every morning and connect that way. But for me, it's to exercise and to drink water. I am grateful for my Diet Cokes every day. I am very grateful for that, but I'm trying to really love water and really go on that mental, physical journey. Like I said, I kind of do things backwards. So I went ahead and signed up for a half a marathon in Savannah. And so I'm really excited about that, because now I have a goal that I can't get away from. So it's forced accountability. And my mom was like, well, that's crazy. And I'm like, but it's forced accountability to say I have to wake up every day, because if I don't wake up every morning and try to exercise and get to where I need to be and to reconnect with the outdoors, then, I'll be at a 13 half marathon unprepared. And I know me better than that. So it was a goal that I had set for, back in 8 years ago. And so, but I never accomplished it because I didn't have like a date to look towards. So,
okay. So today you're going to start trying to exercise every day in the morning.
Yeah. This is day 4. So, but it's a daily commitment. Yeah. It's a daily commitment.
So what are you doing? Are you walking? You're running?
A little bit of both, yeah. A little bit of both.
And you're giving up Diet Coke because it has aspartame in it.
No, I know.
Diet Coke's bad for you.
I know.
No, but you're drinking more water.
More water, yeah. Because I used to try to give up Diet Coke, and it just irritated me. So I'm like, I'm not going to give up that. Like,
life is too short, Ellen.
Life is too short. Yeah. It truly is. It's not that deep. It's
try
not
Coke Zero,
national security issues.
Get rid of that icky stuff. Okay. All right. So we got 2 more here, Melissa and Kristen.
Okay, well, I'm going to be short. I just need to, what was I going to say? Hold on.
One goal. Just one goal. One goal. One goal that you're going to do today that you're going to commit to for the year.
I just need to be a better friend to myself.
Oh, yeah.
How do we measure
I like that.
So in SMART goals, you got to measure that. So how are we going to know if you accomplished it?
I hate measuring crap. People I work with know I hate leading and lagging indicators and all of that. Like, that does not speak to me at all. But anyway,
so if we say to you at this time next year, have you been a better friend to yourself? How are you going to prove that to us?
I don't know, Lisa. I don't know.
That's a hard part of goal setting.
Hey, I've got an idea, Melissa. I've got an idea.
Okay.
How about putting up some signs?
Yes.
Like the signs, like you were talking about, for the mind to slow down. That could be like a measurable thing. Just you're putting
up
the
this?
The signs.
I got it. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Or how about I can get comfortable with sitting with myself in the car for longer than 5 minutes without calling someone or getting on ChatGPT and talking to ChatGPT or trying to voice text or anything like that. Like that's a very big, I can't do that. And it's so.
How long are you going to sit in the car by yourself?
Let's start with 5 minutes.
Okay. You said longer than 5 minutes. You said longer.
Yes. So if I can just do it for 5 minutes, that will be a big thing. My husband's like, I don't know what's wrong with you. You can't get in the car and just drive. You have to be doing something else.
Okay, so you're going to sit in the car for 5 minutes. You're going to breathe. You're not going to look at your phone. You're going to listen to music.
The 16-year-old you, because the 16-year-old you didn't have a phone at 16, so we didn't have.
No, there was no cell phone.
No, yeah, put it in the back seat. That's what I told my 16-year-old.
We didn't have the internet.
Okay, I love this. Okay, so I got this. Sit in the car for 5 minutes. Every day.
Drive like down the road for 5 minutes
every day. Not driving. Not driving.
No, driving.
Driving. Yeah.
Driving. Okay.
The M in Melissa is multitasker, and so this is hard for me to.
Are you going to have music on?
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay, so the goal is to get it to how long? 5 minutes to 10 minutes?
Yeah, I guess so.
By this
5
time next
minutes
year.
sounds like it's going to be hard. Yeah.
This conversation's hard for her. Like, that's hard. Like, I can feel the.
People are see me driving down the road and be like, "Oh my gosh, here comes Melissa."
This is like setting personal goals.
There's going to be a noticeable difference in the way you drive too, I would say. No distractions.
All right. So the ultimate goal is to get to 10 minutes. You're going to start for 5.
Your mind's going to be somewhere, and you're like, "Whoa, back on the road."
You're not looking at the phone. You're not calling anybody on the phone.
Oh, I don't look at my phone. I do not
Okay.
look at my phone. Okay.
You're driving, listening to minutes. You're focused. You're sitting in the car. Sitting in the car is not driving though. So you're going to drive in the car. Or you're sitting in the car for 5 minutes.
I'm driving in the car.
Driving in the car.
You talk to ChatGPT while you're driving in the car?
Yeah, there's a voice.
I do that too sometimes. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I had to
That's
plan a training
distracting. You guys.
Well, it's like talking to a person.
No, it is.
Y'all can't drive my hearses. I'm sorry, but that's.
No, all you have to do is just call it and it'll answer you. Like, you don't even have to touch your phone. Like, it's like it's like a person.
My chat named itself. It named itself. It has its own voice.
Yeah, mine too. Mine's named me. So yeah. So
I thought it was.
I'm not going to start. Yeah,
it calls me baby. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, baby, you could do this. I'm like, thank you.
Okay, ladies. All right. So, all right, Kristen, you ready to commit?
Yeah, I'm. My thing is, I'm gonna, in between each session, I'm gonna take 3 cleansing breaths.
Oh, I like that.
That's
Each
it.
session. 3
Maybe I
cleansing
should have
breaths.
gone with that. That might be a better goal.
It's easier to measure.
I usually have about 10 minutes in between each session. And so I'm going to take 3 cleansing breaths.
I love that. That's more like meditation. I love that.
And I'll just say this. If we can end with this, a cleansing breath is a short breath in your nose, short, long out,
Okay.
short in, long out. When you breathe out like a straw, you're releasing cortisol, which is a stress hormone.
I love it.
So
we need to do more of that.
Release your stress, ladies.
Okay, so Melissa, while you're driving for your 5 to 10 minutes a day, you're going to
so bad I said this.
short breath in.
I love it.
Long breath
I love
out,
it, Melissa.
Right?
I love it.
And Ellen, while you're exercising, you're going to start with your 3 breaths. I love that. And then journaling daily. Elisa, you're going to do that. And I'm really bad at getting up in the morning and exercising. So I'm not as good as Ellen, and I have no excuse. So Lisa is going to commit to 20 minutes of exercise when she wakes up in the morning before she has her tea and coffee. Right? 20 minutes. And that includes weights because I need more weights as you get older, right? And I've got little weights here. There's no excuse. I have my little exercise ball. There's no excuse, right? There's no excuse. And so I can walk the dogs. I can do whatever, but 20 minutes. So that's me. All right. I have them all written down. We'll get those going. So all of our listeners, we encourage you to do the same and set one goal today to help you with mindfulness, help you with stress relief, help you with your goals for the future, whether it's running a marathon, whether it's not brushing your teeth while you're making your bed, whether it's journaling, whether it's driving your car.
And I would like our listeners to message us what their goals are. I would like that.
Yeah.
So we can read them off. Yeah.
That
so
would be awesome.
We can read some of them off. Yeah, that would be great.
I would love that. Send your goals to info@funeralwomenlead.org. And we'll put them on our podcast come January. We'll start talking about more goal setting and things that are going on in the future of ourselves, because we are here to work harder on ourselves and self-care, because that's the key to becoming a great leader. We have to be able to focus on our own self first, which is the hardest thing for all of us to do, right? We focus on everyone else but ourselves. So let's make a commitment to that for 2026. We want to wish everybody a happy holiday, and thank you for joining us here at Funeral Women Lead. 4 Women and a Funeral, and we are 4 Women and a Funeral. And thank you, Kristen, to our guest speaker, our Dean of our Leadership Academy.
Thank
everybody
you.
have a happy holidays.
Thank
Be
you.
safe. Little hearts. Everybody's showing their hearts if you're
thank
watching
y'all.
this.
Have a good
Fingers
one.
together.
That's great.
Have a
Thank you.
good
There we
one.
go. There we go.
All right. We will see you in the new year, ladies. Happy 26th future.
4 Women and a Funeral is a Crab Shell Media podcast.